LG G3, one of the best smartphones of 2014, if not the best. Well, LG says simple isn't new smart, so is it? Hey guys, EverythingTechnology here, and this is my full review of the LG G3. The LG G3 has a very unique design, featuring a brushed metal back cover which actually kind of looks and feels like metal. Keep in mind it's plastic though. On the back you also see all the buttons are located there. The volume up, volume down, and the lock/power button. Furthermore, there's a speaker grill, camera, laser focus, and dual LED flash, which I'll be talking about later in the video. Turn the device around and you'll see a stunning 5.5-inch Quad HD display. Looking at the top, there's a camera, some sensors, and a speaker grill for phone calls. Also on the front, if you haven't noticed, there's barely any bezels, giving this device a remarkable 76.4% screen to bezel ratio. Below the phone, there's a 3.5mm port, a mic, and a micro USB charging port. Moving on to the very top, there's a mic and a IR blaster, making this device a universal remote. Looking at the sides, there's nothing except for that silver brushed metal look. Build quality on this device was great. LG decided to make this whole phone plastic, but they're able to give it a premium look and feel to it. Durability on this device has been awesome for me, because I'm not the type of person who usually drops their phone or does something that can scratch it up. Also, I've had it in a case 1 week after I purchased it. Looking into this display, since I'm not an expert or anything, I watched Erica Griffin's video where she said the color accuracy on this device appears darker than it's supposed to be. Also, the display is ridiculously oversaturated. However, I didn't notice all of that and the display just looks perfect to me. But if you do put it side to side by a certain phone, you will notice. This is something you shouldn't worry about. Anyway, make sure you go check out her video on this. The links will be down below in the description. Viewing angles on this device is great. It didn't lose any colors when tilted in different angles. This display gets pretty bright, although it's not the best in direct sunlight. Since this display is pretty large, LG added a feature called one-handed operation, allowing certain apps like the dial pad, lock screen processor, and even the keyboard to be minimized and swiped to either direction of the finger you're using to make it easier for you to hold it with one hand. I doubt as much people are going to be using this because the best part about this phone is that stunning 5.5-inch display. Powering this device is the Qualcomm Snapdragon 801 chip, clocked at 2.5 GHz quad core with an Adreno 330 GPU. In addition, it has 3 GB of RAM depending on what storage capacity you get. So if you get the 16 GB variant of the phone, you will only have 2 GB of RAM. However, if you get the 32 GB variant like me, you will have 3 GB of RAM. Also, one thing to mention, it has expandable storage with the micro SD card up to 128 GB. Remember, more RAM, better multitasking, so I recommend you getting the 32 GB version like me. Speaking of multitasking, this device performed very well. As you can see here, it's running very smoothly. Recall, just because this device has an awesome processor and 3 GB of RAM, doesn't mean you won't have any lag. If you're a cell phone gamer, you won't be discouraged. As you can see me here playing Dead Trigger 2, and there's really any lag. Even when I move a lot, there's just no lag at all. I'm not going to even try to play a game like Temperon because I know it could definitely handle it. And for you guys who are cell phone gamers, you're going to really love this device. The G3 is running on one of Android's latest 4.4.2 KitKat with LG skin on top of it. Compared to the G2, LG skin has really been toned down. Since this device is a T-Mobile variant, it comes with some bloatware. For example, the T-Mobile My Account app. What I love the most about the software is the fact that you could customize it to suit your own needs. Examples, if you don't like how the home screen transitions look like, go to Settings, Display, Home Screen, then Screen Swipe Effect, and pick the one that you want. Want to add more or change the screen keys? Go to Settings, Display, Home Touch Buttons, then button combination, and drag the ones that you want. I'll be talking about that in a different video. Unlike most phones, you can choose what apps you want on full screen, making it easier to game without accidentally hitting one of the buttons. To do it, go to Settings, Display, Home Touch Buttons, then hide Home Touch Buttons, put a check mark on the apps that you want on full screen. Furthermore, LG has a cool feature called Guest Mode, allowing you to put separate lock screen passwords to activate it. On Guest Mode, you can choose what apps you want the guest to be able to use, even change the wallpaper. Okay, we've talked about what I like about the software, so now let's talk about what I don't. First thing is the multitasking menu. When multitasking, LG added a feature allowing you to zoom in and zoom out to fit as many apps running in the background. When zooming in and zooming out, there's a slight lag. Moreover, there's also delay when pressing the home button to exit out of applications. Other than that, I had an awesome experience. Not a lot of people mention this, but you can theme the G3, though it only works on certain variants of the phone. I can't name all of them, but it definitely works on the AT&T version. To do so, go to Settings, Display, Home Screen, then go to the area called Theme. Additionally, you can download more from the LG Smart World, which is their mini app store. For sure, it doesn't work on the T-Mobile variant. Browsing on the G3 is enjoyable. The browser had little to no lag. On top of that, the web pages opened very fast, and zooming was good. Also, when zooming in and zooming out, since this has a Quad HD display, it's still able to maintain its quality. Before we take a look at the camera, let me clarify to you guys how the laser autofocus works. So the way it works is the phone uses a laser beam to measure the distance from your camera and the subject that you're focusing at, giving it faster focusing speeds, especially when in good lighting. An already low power laser output will be tiny by the time it actually reaches its subject. That also means its range will be pretty low. Also, focusing in low light is more of an issue. To sum it up, yes, it's safe. Now let's take a look at that camera application, and as you can already tell here, it looks very simple, and trust me, it is. But for us tech enthusiasts, it's going to be a little bit too simple because we can't really mess with the settings. And for you average consumers, it's going to be just perfect for you guys. But anyway, on the top left corner here, we have a settings menu which allows you to add a grid and turn it off, and a timer for group pictures, and where you say cheese or a certain phrase for it to take a picture, as you can see right there. But I like to keep it off because it doesn't work most of the time. And then here's where you can change the megapixel and the resolution. So it goes as high as 13 megapixel, and on video it goes as high as UHD and 3 megapixels and 120 frames per second slow motion. But I like to keep mine on 10 megapixel because it puts it on full screen, because when you put on 13 megapixel, it minimizes it, as you can see right there, which looks kind of weird. And here we have HDR, which allows you to just make your pictures look a little bit better. And you could add HDR Auto, which is a pretty cool feature that we don't really see on other phones. And then here we have a mode button, which here the first thing we see here is dual shot, or I don't know however you want to call it, but we saw this on the Galaxy S4, which allows you to take pictures with both cameras. So if you're taking a picture of someone and you want to be in the picture, you could just hit the dual button and there it goes. But I like to keep mine on auto just for the fun of it, because auto's better for me. Anyway, we have panorama here, and we all know what that is. And a thing we probably don't know is magic focus, where we've seen this on all smartphones. The HTC One, the Galaxy S5, is where you take a picture of a object and it focuses on the subject and it blurs the background. Well, it doesn't work the best for me, but it does a pretty good job. And auto, we all know what that is. And here is where you could choose between the front-facing camera and the back-facing camera. And a cool feature with the front-facing camera is you can take selfies like this, which is pretty cool feature. And it works 90% of the time, which is really nice. Actually, when I saw this on other reviews, I didn't think it was going to work very well for me, but it works perfect. And also on the front-facing camera, what we see here on the bottom bar is this is for basically, I could say girls, or you guys could also use it. Well, this allows you, it softens your face to like eliminate pimples or anything like that. So now here we have where you could change the flash on and off in auto. And here is where you could put your whole camera on full screen to where you tap to focus. This is what we saw in the LG commercials. But as you can see, I have that 3, 2, 1 set up, that timer to where I'm taking pictures of the group. That's why I did that. And on the very bottom, if you look here, we have a back button to where we could exit out the application, and a shutter key for taking pictures, as you can see there. And I still have that set to the timer. And we have the video for recording. So this doesn't take you to video settings. It just starts recording as soon as you press it. 3, 2, 1. As you can see, it's recording right now. And I actually didn't notice how to lock the focus. You just tap on the object that you want to focus on, and it actually locks the focus for you. I didn't know how to do this. I searched up videos about it, and I didn't really see that. So if you guys are wondering that, just tap where you want to focus. And you can also hit here to put it on autofocus. And autofocus works perfect for me. Now here's a quick slideshow of some videos and photos I took with the G3. guys, like I said, we're going to be looking at the video samples of this camera. So the first one, I'm going to be testing out the OIS Plus. So right now I'm not hooked up to a tripod or anything, I'm just panning with my hands right now. So let me just start walking. And right now, just keep in mind this is on autofocus. So I am not focusing right now, waiting for it to focus. It does good most of the time, I don't know why it's not focusing, so let me just focus it for itself. As you can see, it looks very nice. So, like as you can see right there, it might look overexposed. That's because it's on direct sunlight. Right now I'm under a shade. So also you guys judge the voice quality. I'm not gonna say how good it is. You guys judge that. So if you guys like it, if you want to buy a phone with a good camera, then get this phone if you guys do like this camera. Let's see if we can focus on that. Nope, we can't. Yeah, but so let me just do a kind of like a running test. So I don't know how that's gonna come out. Okay, so now let's focus on that. So now I'm using touch to focus, and it works very good because of that laser autofocus. Alright guys, now we've seen how good OIS Plus works. Now let's see what quality I can achieve with this camera. Also, I'm gonna be doing a 4K test, but on a separate video. So now we're going to be taking a look at the front-facing camera, and as you can already tell, it could be a pretty good vlogging camera, but I guess it shakes a little bit when you walk because it doesn't have OIS or anything, but it does work pretty well. Also, I'm not going to be doing this. This has slow motion and 120 frames per second, but I'm not going to be doing a sample video of that. I'm probably going to do that separate with the 4K video. I don't know, we'll see how I'm going to do that. But yeah, this is a pretty good camera, so let me just spin really fast real quick. Yeah, the G3 has NFC and Bluetooth 4.0. Having said that, both NFC and Bluetooth work perfectly for me as of now. Because at first I was having problems with NFC. Like when sharing pictures with NFC, I would always get an error message. If you're having that problem or we're having this problem, please let me know down below in the description. When it comes to battery life on the G3, I've heard everything from it has an amazing battery life to it's just terrible. Well, in my usage, it was terrible. It lasted me a little bit over 4 hours of heavy usage with 4 hours of on-screen, and about 7 to 8 hours of heavy to moderate usage with 4 hours of on-screen. But on school days, this phone did a pretty good job because it has very good standby. On school days, I would usually get around 13 hours of usage and like 3 hours of on-screen. But remember, this is on moderate use. A neat feature LG included was the battery saver mode that works surprisingly good. Hopefully LG can improve this battery life on a software update. Let's take a look at some pros. The display is super fast and it's big enough to enjoy watching movies. The camera allows you to take 13 megapixel pictures and record in 4K. The software is very customizable and easy to use. Last but not least, it has an IR blaster, so now you don't have to worry about grabbing your remote. Cons. The device overheats to the point where you can't turn up the brightness all the way. It sometimes gets very difficult to plug in the micro USB charging port. Finally, the phone is slippery, so I recommend you having a case on it. In conclusion, the question is, do I recommend it and to whom? Yes, I do recommend this phone, but for the tech geeks like me, because people like us care about the specs, display, features, etc. But the average consumer wouldn't even notice it has a Quad HD display, and most likely they probably won't even be using most of the features, nor even know some of them exist. Well, LG definitely accomplished simplicity by toning down the heavily skinned software that we saw on the G2. They also accomplished the design of this phone. Trust me, when you see this phone physically, you'll know what I'm talking about. But one major thing they need to work on is battery life, because I could only get 4 hours of heavy usage on this phone, which is just not good. Hopefully LG can fix some of the bugs in the battery life on the software update. So when you do think about it, simple is the new smart. Anyway guys, thank you for watching my review of the LG G3. If you did like it, please give me a thumbs up. Also comment down below if you have any feedback. And I want to give a big shout out to a channel called Consumers Live that me and a couple of tech YouTubers started, where we do podcasts on different news and topics. And if you do want to go check out that channel, it's going to be right here. Just click right here. And for you guys who are on the mobile YouTube app, the link will be down below in the description. Anyway guys, just remember, this is Everything Technology, where technology is everything.